Welcome to the show, guys. Got an exciting one here for you. We are talking studs and sucks for NFL Week 14. There's a couple people that went down with injury, concussion protocol. We're going to talk about the news. We're going to talk about the notes, and we're going to rip into the guys that really need to step up this week, and they didn't. The sucks of the week are the focus here. We're going to rip into them, and we're going to honor a suck of the week at each position. Now, in the comments below, make sure you drop your questions for Week 15. A lot of people in the playoffs, a lot of people advancing. Not only do you drop your questions, drop the name of the person that screwed you this week or may have done really well for you this week. Drop your studs and sucks below. I want to make this super interactive here for you, okay? Going to dive into this, go through every position, and talk about the guys that did well, the guys that didn't do too well. Now, it was a very important week, Week 14. A lot of injuries, right? A lot of injuries happened to some stud players. We're going to discuss that and dive into it. Now, if you're new to the show, make sure you guys click that subscribe button. I'll wait here. Hit the subscribe button. We are already going to start ramping up to 2023 fantasy football as this year is kind of working its way down, dwindling. We're getting into Christmas. So, a lot of people maybe out of the playoffs, a lot of people still in the playoffs. Either way, this is not really the best time for fantasy if you're out of the playoffs, but I'm going to keep it exciting for you all year long. We stay here all year long, so make sure you guys click subscribe. Secondly, guys, we got a game tonight. We got the Cardinals versus the Patriots. It's going to be a decent game, but to enhance that game watching experience, head on over to Hooters.com or download the app right now. Use code FFC20 to save $10 on order of 30 or more on takeout or delivery. They've got these amazing football bundles going on right now. Go order some right now. Also, upon checkout, they've got the calendar. The Hooters calendar. Make sure you add that to the cart upon checkout. Remember, use code FFC20 to save that $10 on order of 30 or more on takeout or delivery. Select locations across USA. Go order some Hooters right now. The game. We got World Cup. We got UFCs. We got tons of events where you can order in some Hooters. Amazing food. Go try it right now. FFC20 is the code. All right, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the quarterback position. Who did well? Now, one thing that really caught my radar this week at the quarterback position was Trevor Lawrence doing well. It seems like he's kind of now come out of his shell a little bit, and now he's kind of evolved into that quarterback that people want to see more of. So Trevor Lawrence, the win versus Tennessee, 36-22. Jacksonville, 30 completions, 42 attempts. Looked good, man. 3 touchdowns with 0 interceptions for 33.42 fantasy points. Number 1 quarterback in fantasy for NFL Week 14. Now we're talking NFL Week 14 highlights and recap. This is predicated on Sunday's games. There's obviously one more game tonight. Now, again, I still think Trevor Lawrence is going to still win this quarterback of the week in regards to fantasy points. Great week. Hurts, great week, consistent. Love Jalen Hurts. I think he's my MVP this year. Consistent, improved player, amazing. 30.38 points. Jared Goff, Russell Wilson. Now, Russell Wilson sitting 4th in fantasy points, 25.58. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, was doing well. A lot of the Broncos fans saying they're proud to have Russell Wilson as their quarterback yet again because he showed some effort. Now, is he back is the big question. Now, he went out with, he's on concussion protocol, got his head banged up, but he was making an effort. He was really trying. He was connecting with Jerry Jeudy. We saw a light in Russell Wilson that we hadn't seen all season. Is that going to continue, or is this concussion going to maybe create some fear in him? Like, do I really need to put out all this effort? Because, we got like a losing record. We're not doing well. It's been a bad year. I've already been paid and incentivized. I'm a multi-millionaire. Do I need to put my body on the line here? That's something that I think he's got to dig down deep to see. This is going to separate the men from the boys. So we're going to see how he's going to, react to this, right? After this injury and, when he's going to be back. It's going to be interesting to see when he gets back. Kirk Cousins, Brock Purdy, San Fran, quarterback, 21.7 points. Not bad, right? 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Josh Allen, Geno Smith, and Pat Mahomes to round out the top 10. Honorable mention, Justin Herbert. Now, who did bad at the quarterback position? Who was the suck of the week? I got to say most people performed kind of where they should. Right? Now, if you started Kenny Pickett, I did a post on IG. If you're not following Instagram, make sure you guys do that. In the post, it was a regular tackle. The guy came in, whipped Pickett down, kind of landed more on his upper shoulders, maybe his lower neck. It looked like a high-impact throw, but his helmet didn't touch the ground and looked like a regular tackle to me, other than the fact that Smith, the defender for Baltimore, had a piece of Pickett's helmet. So when I'm watching this, I'm just like, okay, maybe he got slammed. It was pretty hard, but not enough to pull him out of the game. I mean, this is football, guys, we're talking about. So I posted on Twitter saying that Pickett's soft, and I don't think it was maybe Pickett's decision. It was probably the coach's decision to pull him out, or, you know, the NFL's rules to pull him out. But either way, I don't think that was something that was worth pulling out a player for when his helmet barely touched the floor, the ground, right? So I'm looking at this. Kenny Pickett, 1.6 fantasy points, got pulled out early. Didn't get to perform. If you started him, you got screwed in fantasy. So at the end of the day, again, I don't think it would warrant that this guy comes out of the game on a basic tackle. It's a tackle, man. Football's a rough sport, everybody. Wake up. We're playing football here. It wasn't like a catastrophic head injury. Didn't look dazed. Didn't look confused. Either way, he was out of the game, which I think is total BS. They're being really soft now with these guys, okay? Now, again, you're saying, well, Joe, you're soft. You got to protect the player. And I get that, but you got to understand, though, I watch mixed martial arts. I got a mixed martial arts background where these guys are getting punched in the face, their heads bouncing off the floor, blood, eyes, nose broken, cauliflower ear, teeth, you know, bang, 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 bang. This guy gets one tackle, and he's out for the entire game, man. It's a little crazy, okay? Now, Russell Wilson looked a little more serious. He looked a little more dazed. I get that. Bring him out of the game. But Pickett looked okay. That's my opinion. So let me know what you guys think. Tom Brady here had himself a bad game, 10.12 points. A lot of people may have started him. Didn't have the best game. 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown. Again, they didn't play well, man. They did not play well. Tyler Huntley, who came in for Lamar as a backup, 6.62 points. And Derek Carr, 2.58 points. So I'm going to say that Derek Carr is the suck of the week, a guy that you're expecting more out of. Had himself a bad week, finishing 27th amongst quarterbacks in fantasy points. So Derek Carr is the suck of the week, all right? Moving up to the running back position, the guys did well. Jerick McKinnon for KC stepping up 32.4 points. Anomaly-type game for him. Don't expect that moving forward. Christian McCaffrey having himself a good game. What do you have? 14 attempts, 119 yards, and a touchdown rushing and a touchdown receiving. Christian McCaffrey getting it done, running all over Tampa Bay. Miles Sanders, Austin Eckler, Tony Pollard, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Chuba Hubbard, J.K. Dobbins, Zeke Elliott. J.K. Dobbins coming back from injury, having himself 18 points. A guy that I do not trust, predicated because he always gets hurt, man. Always gets hurt. Najee Harris having himself a safe 13-point game. Isaiah Pacheco, if you watch that game, I mean, Pacheco is start capable. Like, that could be your workhorse back. The way that he ran to seal the game with KC was amazing. He ran strong. He ran hard. He was an angry celebrator right after the game by the sideline. So had himself a good game, 12.3 points. Nothing crazy, but just exciting to see that type of passion coming out of this guy at the end of the game to seal it for the Chiefs. Now, guys that did well, there's some big names here that just did not perform well. Dalvin Cook to 8.6 points. He did get a touchdown, but he also got himself a fumble, just did not perform. And this whole season has been performing to where his ADP was. Nick Chubb, bad game, 8.4 points. DeAndre Swift, one of the biggest busts this season, which the Chiefs has told you to draft. He was a top 8 in PPR, running back across all boards. Had himself another bad game, 6.9. And Saquon Barkley, big-time disappointment, 6.8 points. This was a guy that was questionable to even play this week, so you got to imagine that he would be limited. He was limited to 9 attempts, 28 yards, 3.1 yards per carry. Had himself a terrible game. Apparently, he's good to go next week is what he's saying. But a big-time disappointment for a guy that needs to step up, man. Just needs to step up if he wants to get that big contract, okay? Hasn't really done it. Kind of good season, but lately not really. Kind of showing those injuries kind of come lingering back, right? Travis Homer, a guy that's supposed to step up for Seattle with Walker out, only 5.4 points. And Devin Singletary, 5.3 points. Big-time disappointment here at the running back position. But I would say the suck of the week, now we talk about Derek Carr at quarterback, the suck of the week has to be Travis Etienne, 3.2 fantasy points, everybody. This is a guy that everybody told you to draft as an RB1 as part of a zero RB strategy. Go wide receiver heavy, they said, and make sure your RB1 is Travis Etienne. He could carry the load. He's the guy, 3.2 points. Had a decent midseason run, had a rough start to the season, now having a bad end of the season. Travis Etienne, probably arguably one of the biggest busts this season, okay? Honorable mention here, Kareem Hunt, 3.2 points as well. Very disappointing. Moving on to the wide receiver position, Jerry Jeudy having himself a game, 33.3 points. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, some big young names there at the top. Tyreek Hill was coming in and out with ankle injury, came back in, had a big touchdown, 24.1 points. They did end up losing 23-17 to the Chargers. Justin Herbert looking good in that game. Mike Williams, Juju, Chris Moore, believe it or not, Houston, 22.4 points. Pretty awesome. They almost ended up beating Dallas if you watched that game. It was interesting. Zay Jones, DJ Chark, and Keenan Allen to round out the top 10. Now, who is the suck of the week at the wide receiver position? Now, we saw Deebo Samuel. That's another injury we got to mention here. 14.4 points. Went out. Apparently, it's just a high ankle sprain. Should be not as bad as people think, which is probably not going to be season-ending. Hopefully, he gets back soon. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 13.4 points. Mediocre. Some mediocre performances there. But who is the suck of the week, guys? Now, drop in the comments below. Let me know who the suck of the week was for you guys. But I say Devontae Adams here, 10.1 points. That's got to be a mention here. Mike Evans, 8.4. CeeDee Lamb, 8.3. All big names here, guys. Not performing to their potential at all. You look at a guy like CeeDee Lamb against Houston, you would think, right? Either way, they got a rush defense, a little bit of a better pass defense, but either way. Stephon Diggs, 6.7 points. Amari Cooper, 6.2. Gabe Davis, 6.1. Jalen Waddle, 5.1. So you can make a debate that Jalen Waddle was a bust. You can make a debate that Stephon Diggs was a bust. 6.7 points. I'm going to say Stephon Diggs, you, sir, are the suck of the week. Very disappointing, Stephon Diggs. Let's move on to the tight end position. 6.7 points, Stephon Diggs. For a lot of people who are in their fantasy championships, very disappointing. Moving on to tight end here. With tight end, let's talk Evan Ingram, rounding out the top, 39.2 points. Phenomenal game here with Jacksonville. That's why I guess ATN suffered. 2 touchdowns, 162 yards, 11 receptions on 15 targets. Evan Ingram, big factor here for Jacksonville. Njoku, doing well. Okanawa, Tennessee's tight end, had himself a good game, 18.5 points. Very disappointing considering you want the wide receivers to get involved, but you got this tight end that nobody started in playoffs. Okinawa doing well. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his first name. Chigoziem. Yeah, like Chigozi. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it, right? Chigoziem. Okonkwa. I think I got it. Either way, Dalton Schultz, 4 amongst tight ends. Dawson Knox, Pat Freiermuth, Austin Hooper, TJ Hawkinson, Travis Kelce, and Tyler Conklin running at the top 10. And even as a top 10, Conklin, 7.8 points, really not acceptable. Suck of the week, again, there's 2 guys that are big names, drafted with high draft capital, didn't do well. George Kittle, 6.8 points, and Mark Andrews, 3.7. Mark Andrews, you, sir, are the suck of the week. And that's very disappointing when you got guys like Derek Carr, which, again, I don't have any stock in. A little more to be expected, but you got like Mark Andrews, who's a 3rd-round pick, and Stephon Diggs, who's a late 1st-round, 2nd-round pick in your playoffs, not performing. Travis Etienne was more like a 4th-round pick. So, again, very disappointing for guys that have big names. Even the guy like Saquon Barkley, early 2nd-round pick, just did not perform where he should have this week. Very, very disappointing. So, suck of the week, Mark Andrews, George Kittle, Travis Etienne, honorable mention, guys like Saquon Barkley, Nick Chubb, Dalvin Cook not doing well. You got wide receivers that should have done well. Guys like Mike Evans should have crushed it. Stephon Diggs didn't get done. CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, the big names, wide receiver ones, just not getting it done this week. So a very disappointing week for a lot of players. Hopefully your team pulled through. But this is fantasy football. You get that uncertainty, right? That's why you got to anchor your team with that ace quarterback, guys like the Jalen Hurts and Justin Herberts, who've been relatively consistent throughout the year. You need that consistency at the quarterback position, and everything else kind of works its way out, right? And, in regards to other positions, right? So very disappointing for a lot of players, a lot of downs this week, but there's also some ups. Hopefully you guys had a lot of those ups this week, and you guys are well into the playoffs now, moving towards that championship. All right, guys? If you're new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe. Remember, head on over to Hooters.com, FFC20. Go use the code. Order some food right now. Subscribe. We go year-round. We'll talk soon. Enjoy the game tonight, Patriots and Cardinals. We'll talk soon.